I was really happy with that win. We had a lot of respect for Kennesaw coming into the game. I think Pet's done a terrific job over the last couple of years with his group. They got a young bunch, but a talented bunch. They were up 20 a couple of weeks ago in the first half against the top 25 team in Rutgers, and they got two guys and ended up winning that game. And then they got two guys that can really score it, and Woolley and Cottle. They take about 40% of their team shots. Tonight they took 30 between the two of them, and they just put pressure on your defense. You just don't. You're never at ease. And our guys are able to do the same thing to other teams. I'm sure that the guy on the other end of the floor isn't at ease either with, guys like these two and JP and Cam and others. But at halftime I said, the way this is going, it's going to be an 85-80 game. I missed it by one each. But it was two teams that was making shots. And, we gave up a couple easies, but there were times where we were defending fairly well, and they were making shots. The last OB in the dead corner got all of our switches right. We got a big guy over the ball, and he throws one in. And, those kind of things can deflate you if you're not careful. You guard well, and it goes in. And all of a sudden, mistakes can happen. I thought we had a stretch where we got a little careless with the ball. We had some plays out in transition where we came up empty. And so, as we continue to, particularly road games, tournament games, you have to take advantage of those kind of opportunities. So we'll go back, look at those kind of things, know the why. Congratulations to Rock for 1,000 points in his college career. Esam's got 1,000 rebounds, so we'll honor those guys for the game on Saturday. But I thought he had Esam a terrific first half, and then JP a terrific second half that allowed us in part to get a big win. Questions?
Kennesaw was one of the best rebounding teams in the country in a matchup. Y'all beat them by 3 on the board. I think at one point had a 6 or 7 board advantage till they got some sort of scrappy ones right at the end. How big a point of emphasis was that for y'all, and what did y'all do to sort of keep them off the glass all night?
It's what we talked about for the last several days is that I thought our team understood, because we've played them a lot in UAB, how aggressive they are on the offensive glass. We were ready for that. South Florida, several of our guys know some of the players there. That's an offensive rebounding team. So our emphasis over the last several days, you got to understand this is going to be one of those kind of games. We haven't played Kennesaw in a long time. I don't think we've played them in the Division I since they've been Division I. But we knew they were a really good offensive rebounding team, and the guys that do it kind of thrive in that role. You got to know that Woolley and Cotto are going to shoot the shots. So if you want a touch, you're probably going to have to go rebound it. And they got some guys that go get it.
Joe, 1,000 points. You got announced twice tonight. But, between two schools, huge accomplishment for you. What if you see that bucket go in and know that, you've made that impact on 2 different places now in your career?
First, I appreciate it. But, that's a huge accomplishment of mine. Put in a lot of work to get here, but I'm just truly blessed that I was able to score it in this blue uniform. So, truly blessed.
Esam, you don't get to work the pick and roll game as much because usually teams cover the roll given your success, but Kennesaw left you open a lot tonight with a chance to finish. How did it get you going early, being able to roll and get some early shots?
I feel my teammates did a great job finding me today. Coach has been telling me, roll hard lately a lot, so I just listened to what Coach said, and Rock and JP, Cam did a great job finding me every time I rolled when I was open. So, thank to them.
And Rock, how much of those pocket passes, talking about off the pick and roll there, especially a lot of tight quarter passes, how much of that was the scout, or that's just what Kennesaw gave you tonight?
Well, usually teams will do, a hard hedge, so we haven't seen that in several games, but when I come off of it, I'm usually looking at the big man as he shows in that outside wing as well. So he was more so helping towards the corner man. Esam was, wide open, so I was able just to feed him. But that's the first time I've seen it in a couple of games. So I'm glad I've seen it, and obviously got 6 assists. But Esam did a great job of finishing.
Coach JP kind of had a rough last 2 weeks. Tonight just felt like this is the JP we know. How much of that was pressure maybe applied in practice, or I know JP enough? Is that kind of his mentality?
That boy has been he said something on his Instagram, one of his close friends, after he had like the rough 2 stretch, and that boy had been in the gym the last 3-4 days. It's been crazy. So I'll answer that for him. But that boy been in the gym crazy. So I'm glad that he was able to come out and showcase that.
And I'll say something too, like JP is our leading scorer, you know. So like you gotta know that when you have a leading scorer like this, it's the first one in everyone's scout. So you know, like people gonna guard him, or you're gonna get him like tough shots every time, you know. Sometimes balls don't go in, but he showed today who JP is, you know.
Coach,
I mean, they nailed
great
it.
answer, Coach.
They nailed it. They nailed it.
Cottle, Woolley, you touched on how talented those guys are. Cottle especially, I thought collectively, you know, outside the late 3 there, you held him to 11 points, well under his average, and you know who's coming in here on Saturday with Pierre.
Yeah.
How much from this game in particular are you going to be able to carry over for a game like that on Saturday?
We're going to need to, because they're also Ray's teams are always physical. You know, it's not going to be a easy, free-flowing game. They've got a guard again this year. Last year was Tandy, that was really high usage, aggressive offensive player. We've seen Pierre. Some of these guys haven't. Our coaches have from his days at Southern Miss. You know, before he transferred to Wichita State. He's a talented young man, going to shoot a lot of shots, scores a lot of points. I don't mean he's scoring a lot of points just because he overshoots it. You look at his shooting percentages, they're good too. So, you know, it's another guard in this league that if you let your guard down, you know, he's going to throw it in a bucket. And so he's a big, strong, physical, downhill guy. I don't know what he ended up with tonight, but I'd imagine he played well to go on the road and win up there.
Coach, triggering 3 shots, 3 makes, seemed like each one was bigger than the last. How valuable has he found himself in that sort of that 4th guard role, being that 3-and-D type player right now?
I'm glad you asked that, Sam. We just made that point in the locker room that no matter whether you play in 2 minutes or 38 minutes, be ready to go in and impact the game. And I think he epitomizes that. Played 10 minutes, 3 for 3 from behind the arc. 2 of those were on OBs. He's a guy that he's ready to go in, particularly at the end of games, and guard people. He's a strong, physical guy, and so he's ready to fight through ball screens and pin downs and things like that when the other team's trying to get the ball in their best offensive players' hands. So it's not just a one-side thing. His last 3 was a real big one. It's 77-73, and he makes a corner 3 on an OB that put us back up 7, and we kind of stayed in that range for the rest of the game. You know, that's one that, you know, it doesn't go down, and because of where you shoot it, sometimes those baseline jumpers, if you're not careful, can lead to runouts for the other team if you're not really good and prepared in defensive transition. Well, they didn't get a chance to because it went in the bucket, and so he's really helping us.
Isan, this is just an observation for me. I've never seen a player chat as much with guys on the other team when they're maybe frustrated to try to get them, you know, in a different mindset maybe as much as you do at times. You know, where does that come from in your personality being a friendly presence on the court?
No, I'm not. I'm just trying to lose them up. You know, when I see a player, just another team like just very tense. You know, it's a game. You know, it's basketball. So it's just trying to have fun in there. Like you don't have to be like have a straight face the whole time. You know, just have fun. And I told him like he made a shot, so that was like good shot. Like that's good. Shoot it again. Like I didn't mind it. Like I'm just trying to have fun. You know, like every time I play, I have fun, you know, so I would like for everyone to have fun playing the game, too. So that's why I be talking to people, talking to the team, talking to my teammates, and, like, trying to lose them up.
Talking
that's
to
all.
me.
Talking to the coach, like, all the time.
Thanks, y'all.
Thank you.
guys.